Igor, everyone hears about companies being sold for millions of dollars. What does that actually mean in real life?
Look, in simple terms, it means one person or company is buying another business. Instead of starting from zero, they buy something that already exists because they always buy all assets, not just income. They buy clients, they buy team, they buy managers, everything. So that's what we call an acquisition in technical language.
Okay, first off, I want to understand, is this only for big corporations or can normal businesses do it too?
No, this is not only for big companies. Even small business owners can do it. They can buy a restaurant, a small hot dog station, bus station, a small company, or even a rental building. So the rules are the same, just the numbers are smaller.
All right, let's take it one step back. What is a merger and what is an acquisition?
So look, an acquisition is simple. You buy a business and become the owner of this business. A merger is when two companies combine and become one. But honestly, in real life, most deals are just acquisitions. Merger is mostly about when two companies have to build a synergy between them, and when they merge together, they have not 1 plus 1 is 2, they have 1 plus 1 is 3.
Okay, Igor, can you explain this to me like I'm a 12-year-old, please?
Yes, imagine you have a lemonade stand and I buy it from you, right?
Okay.
So now I own your stand, so your customers and your income. So that's an acquisition. In the future, you have no right to have cash flow from the same lemonade stand. And also, here is a very important point. We lawyers always look in the draft of the SPA. SPA is a sale purchase agreement,
Okay.
where you insert all provisions in the agreement in such a way that you protect, for example, you as a buyer. Imagine, I have in my experience the following case study. One Italian company from Germany, they had a restaurant on the main walking street in Frankfurt. They had huge success.
Okay.
And after 5 years of working, an investor came in Germany and said, I want to buy this restaurant. They bought the restaurant, exactly like your lemon stand example, yeah? And they bought the restaurant, but they did not have very high quality lawyers in the deal. So they bought the restaurant, they went to the notary, they transferred the shares of the company, and
Okay.
you know what? Imagine what happened after 2 months. The same restaurant, which had huge success in Frankfurt, he opened a new restaurant opposite to this which he sold,
Okay.
and he had the right to continue his business because the lawyers, they missed to insert in the SPA agreement non-competition provision, which means you're not allowed to have the same business in the next, let's say, 5 years.
Okay.
And that's why it's very important when you acquire a business to have good lawyers in place, to have good provisions to avoid all these risks in the future.
I hear it's very important to read the fine print as well. But why would I buy a company instead of just starting my own business?
Okay, look, imagine an investor is coming to a market, and in order to build his way in a new niche or in a market, he needs to like invest 2, 3, 5 years until the moment he's becoming, let's say, successful, having
Okay.
cash flow, also having presence in the market. So this way of acquisition is faster and less risky. While investors, they pay more money for it. So if you build a company from scratch, maybe you'll invest 2-3 million, but if you buy an existing company, you will buy maybe for 5 million, and that's fine because you add a premium and you pay to the previous seller, and the business has already customers and income, so you can cash flow from the day one. So instead of building for 5 years, you can start earning from the day one in this situation. So that's why acquisitions are very, very important.
So you actually grow faster, if I'm correct.
Exactly.
Okay.
You grow faster, and you have the presence from the moment you signed the notary papers. Now,
Can you give me a simple real world example?
yeah, look, I will give you the following example for an acquisition. which is
Okay.
very interesting. We had this following project. One of the very known chocolate factory from Germany, they wanted to enter the East European market, but they didn't want to just to build a new factory because it's costly and a lot of political and country risk involved, East European countries.
Right.
And they came to an existing chocolate and sweet factory in Moldova, and they made an offer. Of course, the Moldovan factory, they did not accept in the beginning, but they used a multiplicator in the market. They just the price of the company was 5 million euro. They used the multiplicator and they paid them 10 million euro.
Oh wow.
And the Moldovan factory was impressed and shocked. Why they are paying so much? Because they didn't know where they lose this premium, why they cannot do it alone. But then after just 6 months, the German company, they imported all know-how and technology in the new Moldovan factory, and they used their own network to distribute all these chocolates, not just from the German company, but also from the Moldovan company. So it means they build a synergy between these two companies, and they increased a lot in sales because they used their own network of selling all these chocolates under the new branding, of course. Because when you have a new brand, when you have a good brand, you always have goodwill, which is extra balance sheet account. Accountants will understand what I'm telling them now. And brand always is an asset. So in acquisition, if you know how to use your goodwill, if you know how to build synergy. I'll give you another example. Imagine there is a factory which produces juices, and there is a company which is doing logistics. And if they merge together, what they do, they just make this synergy effect, and they win a lot because they have their own logistics system.
Wow, yes.
And there are many examples in the world. They do it, either acquisition or joint ventures or partnership.
All right, Igor. Real estate is such a huge pillar in the economy, in simple terms. So how does this work in real estate?
Look, in real estate, it's the same idea. Instead of building a new property, imagine a new multifamily units building, you buy an existing building that already generates rent. So you buy income, not just the property. You understand?
Oh wow, yes.
So you buy the property. I'll give you the example which I participated in this project. It was a project with 10 million euro multifamily building. So the investor came in the building and he bought all rentals, so all income from the building. So he bought, imagine every apartment, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 24 or 26 apartments in this building. So imagine every apartment is bringing cash flow of 1,500, 2,000 euro per month. This project was in Germany. And now imagine you are getting this 2,000, let's say, rent every month. So 2,000, let's multiply. Look, 2,000 multiply with 26 apartments, this is already 52,000 euro per month.
Oh, wow.
Now you have this cash flow is yours already. And what you can also do when you buy this kind of multi-family units, you need always to look at the depreciation of the building, because if you buy the building and the building is quite old, you can offset through so-called accelerated depreciation. You can offset against the taxes. So once again, it is very important to use all your means to buy an existing business. If you negotiate well and you know your batna and whatna, then you are in good hands. By the way, we need to speak about this best alternative negotiated agreement, which is a special topic about negotiation.
Okay, then
but we'll do it later.
Yeah, let's do it later.